Definitely a flip side to paradise. Yes. Absolutely. You know, coming here as a tourist is one thing. Coming here to see the tribulations that you know very well go on in Jamaica on the daily. You know, it's all smiles and making tourists happy, but it's not easy in Jamaica.
Right.
As they say.
Right. And you have a lot of experience living in Jamaica. Tell me some of the things from your perspective, and just project a little bit so you can hear. Yeah, just tell me some things from your perspective that you know, tourists that come to Jamaica don't see. Like you know, some of the things that you see as challenges that we need to work on as Jamaica.
It's really hard as an outsider to talk about what Jamaicans should do, and if there's one thing I've learned through the years is that's not really accepted. To tell the Jamaicans or suggest to the Jamaicans, do it our way, or try it this way. Jamaica has their very own way of doing things, but the main thing that I think foreigners see when they come to Jamaica is the poverty, the down pressing of the individual. If you know, there's like almost like a caste system. If you're, you know, middle class or higher than that, you don't really mix with the lower class or the people who hustle on a daily basis. I find those people that have to hustle on a daily basis really get the short end of the stick in Jamaica by their governments.
Right. And, you know, just to interject a little bit, that is what Tappertalks is all about. A lot of times you get to see, you know, things from a perspective of, you know, top down, and not even down, just the top. And we want to showcase the average folk. And I regard myself as an average person. I'm not in government.
Right.
I don't have any power. I don't hold any office. We have a voice, and that is what I want to highlight. You know, we're going to be going around talking to the farmers, talking to everyone, getting perspectives. And as you said, Lorraine, from your perspective, you've lived here for over
30 years.
Over 30 years. So I value her opinion and her views. And you're saying, you know, you see where, you know, there's a hierarchy system of the haves and the have-nots.
Absolutely.
And, you know, where there's abject poverty in many instances. And those voices don't get heard, is what you're saying.
Yes. It's very hard to be without funds in Jamaica.
Yes.
Living day to day.
Things are expensive. Even if you come here as a tourist.
Absolutely.
Things are expensive.
Very expensive. We're about to get 3 of those expensive things right now.
Oh my goodness. Come on down. Oh. Lorraine just introduced me to a drink I'm going to try to do.
It's a bigotry.
You can't.
You have to.
Tell them again, Kay. You can't come. Tell them.
You can't come to Jamaica without trying a dirty banana. It's obligatory.
A dirty banana. And in a fluid talk, a dirty banana.
Dirty.
So I'm gonna be trying a dirty banana. So Kay, say so this is our patois lesson now. Dirty banana.
Dirty banana.
Dirty banana.
Dirty banana.
And I, of course, switched to the music part.
Cheers.
Dirty, yes.
Bless.
Big up
Bless
Sean
you.
Paul and
Bless
Dirty.
Big up Sean Paul.
Dirty crew and the Dirty crew.
Dirty crew. Man. It's nice.
It's like breakfast.
I'm a banana person, so it didn't take a lot to win me over.
Right. Once you love a banana, you gotta love this. It has the white rum in it, brown rum, Tia Maria, banana.
White rum, brown rum, Tia Maria, banana. Yeah, ting right.
Should set you right.
Ting right. Yeah, man. All we need now is some Bob Man when I link that. No, we're good, right?
Easy skanking.
Yes, man.
Easy skanking right now.
Yes. So we're talking about different challenges that Jamaicans face on a daily basis. Poverty. And we all know that poverty isn't relegated to any country. There's poverty everywhere. Yeah, but we're talking about Jamaica. We're not talking about everywhere. And Tappertalks, one of our missions and our aims is to not just to highlight things, but to try to see how we can make them better. You know, and I'm gonna throw a big one at you.
All right.
I'm gonna throw a big one at you. Poverty is a huge issue in Jamaica. Correct.
Absolutely.
Huge, right?
Absolutely.
You have a business sense. I'm sure you've done some type of business. Have you?
Not in Jamaica, but yes.
See,
I was a restaurateur in Norway, so I had a lot of, opinions about how things are done in the restaurant, hotel business, and golf business in Jamaica.
What are some of the things that you think the government, the people, or society could do to alleviate some of that problem, make some things better? I know.
That's a tough question.
I know. And on the beach, we don't do tough. but on Tappertalks, we're gonna nibble at it a little bit, because the thing that I've learned is everyone has an opinion. Everyone, and in my case, I value opinions. I value people's perspective, people's views. What are some of the things that we could do to alleviate some of that, to impact that?
Free schooling. Government pays for schooling. Everything should be paid by the government, so that every Jamaican gets an equal opportunity for education. That's some of the hardships I see. Children who can't go to school because their parents can't afford their bus fare, or can't afford the uniforms, or can't afford to make them lunch to send them out. Those are the heartbreaking things.
You guys heard that. Lorraine is saying that education should be free. Are you talking about especially early childhood education?
Absolutely.
Especially early childhood education. No little kid should suffer the indignity and the negative aspects of not being able to gain an education.
The one thing they do is they have school uniforms in Jamaica, and a lot of people think, oh, that's so sad. But does help alleviate a little bit of the differences in how much money your parents have.
No matter how much. So school uniforms is a good thing that Lorraine is highlighting. No matter how much money you have, everyone wears the same uniforms, and that's a positive.
Right.
That's a good thing.
And the fancy hairstyles are not allowed in schools. Not differentiate. Jamaican children grow up very fast.
Right.
Too fast.
Right.
Before they're properly educated, they have more street smarts.
A lot of street smarts.
Than
I can
anything.
I can attest.
Absolutely.
I had a little bit of street smarts.
I'm sure you did. Cheers, Ryan. We'll have some of that dirty
Cheers.
banana.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's get it.
Street smarts give you a certain distance in life, but then education has to keep it also.
Education can be the equalizer.
Absolutely.
No matter how much money you have, if you're in a classroom setting and you have books, you can get to school. You have lunch money. Because a lot of times kids go to school and they don't have lunch.
And during the pandemic, that's when you really could see the difference, because middle class and upper class children, they already have their iPhones and they have their tablets, and they can tune into school differently. Like a lot of the rural children don't even have Wi-Fi anywhere near them to plug in and go to school. So the last 2 years have created a lot of difference in education here in Jamaica.
So just to reiterate, guys, the pandemic has created such, you could see the differences with folks kids that came from homes that were well funded. They had all the tablets, had the high-speed internet, all that stuff. And folks from poor communities, poor households, they had no access or little get in online learning, etc. So, you know, from an IT background, and I'll interject a little bit, from an IT background, you know, that's why I advocated, you know, when I spoke to people. We have all these schools, these buildings, you know, that have to be maintained, etc. One of the good things about the pandemic is one of the bad things also, because as you said, if you didn't have the tablets or the laptops or the service, you know, high-speed service, etc., you're at a big disadvantage. I think the government, this is my thinking, should maybe piggyback on that and actually supply, and I'm sure the government did supply some kids with, you know, but obviously they couldn't do everybody.
Too late,
right?
Because they should have been on front with that right away when they started falling behind.
Right.
But you know, and you know, the biggest conglomerates here in Jamaica are Digicel. It's a big Caribbean country.
Right.
It would have cost them very little to somehow sponsor these children. Yeah.
You know,
And they did, I think, eventually, you know, make it more accessible for the school children.
but it was slow.
Right.
A lot of people suffered
Yes.
in terms of not getting that education right off the bat. You know, delays, etc., which affected learning. Great.
And that's something you won't even know the ramifications of that until much further down the line.
Right. Yes.
Like when students were in 7th grade, all of a sudden now they're in 9th grade, and they missed everything between 7 and 9. Right.
Yeah. And just to kind of put it in context too, even in the States we had hiccups and you know, setbacks, etc. But we're talking about Jamaica. We love Jamaica.
Yes.
So we're not beating up on Jamaica. We are trying to highlight things and, you know, highlight where some focus should be.
Right.
And see if we can, you know, start talking about it, and then some action can
And the children are definitely
children. We have to stand up for kids,
right,
anywhere, you know. And when we see kids that are you know, missing school, you know, because of their social background, etc., it's something that, you know, that needs to be highlighted, and an issue that needs to be fixed. So that's a great one. That is a great one. I know I've had these conversations before, especially about healthcare. That's where a huge discrepancy is. Because if you can afford to fly out to the States, you know, to get your healthcare, you're not too concerned about what's happening in hospitals. You know, I've visited hospitals that don't have alcohol.
right,
Basic alcohol.
right.
I know Jamaica doesn't mint money, and I know we're not. I know there are many challenges from the government, etc. But I think more can be done.
I have a good friend whose little daughter is 5 years old. She's sick. She keeps having seizures. So they live in negril, and for them to even get an EKG or a PET scan, they have to travel to Kingston. So the other day, him and his 5-year-old little girl got on a bus and went to Kingston. 5 hours to Kingston, and when they reached Kingston, they were told the doctor who does the EKG, unfortunately, is not there today. So he had to take his sick daughter back on the bus 5 hours and wait for a new appointment to go back to Kingston. She's 5 years old. She's having seizures. Can you imagine what a 10-hour bus traveling day was like for this little girl? And that's where it really hurts. That's what really hurts.
So,
Again, because these are the children. You know, it's not like it's a big person who should have known better, should have had some insurance, should have had a job, should have had some money. These are children. And when your parents are poor and they can't do for you, and children die because of the lack of, you know, health care, like you say.
and you have someone with money, then there's no institution there. They have to go to Kingston. You know, so if you have an emergency, medical emergency, you know, depending on what it is, you need an EKG, you need something heart related, etc. You're in trouble. let me tell you, you just hit on motor vehicles. One of the things that I've seen that just amazes me is how when I was here and even in my travels, I mean, I've seen guys overtaking all that. That's fine. But now I think folks have taken it to a new level.
Absolutely.
And I think I'm going to talk to some taxi operators just to get what is in their mind, but especially from the taxi community. They are really like constantly overtaking around corners, zipping in and out. It's like, you know, guys like forcing their way back into traffic because, and guys, I've been driving already, and the guy is overtaking. He's in my lane, and he's just coming.
He doesn't care about you.
He's
He
just
wants you
coming.
to stop.
And I'm like, okay, so I need to pull off the road?
Yeah.
Not stop. He doesn't want me to stop because he wants me to go.
Yeah.
He wants me to pull off the road so he can continue.
Because his business is always more important than your business.
And I mean, that's a culture, to me now, that's a cultural thing. And that's something that definitely needs to be addressed. I mean, there can't be cops everywhere to police everybody, but everyone needs to look into themselves to say, hey, is this the kind of society that I want to live in? Yeah, you're driving the taxi today, but another day you're taking your family somewhere.
Yeah.
And this same guy, another guy, is going to be doing the same thing as you because you're teaching the kids. The kids are seeing you do this.
Absolutely.
When they start driving, they're going to be doing the same thing. You know? And do you want to be the family that is mourning a loved one or whatever the
It
case
happens
is?
every day.
You know?
It happens
You
every
know,
day.
and definitely.
And sometimes not just one family member. There's like 3 family members in one car. All of a sudden, half your family's wiped out
I think
because of
last-
overtaking.
I think last year I read something from a father who got a call from his daughter that she was headed into Kingston or headed from Kingston. I don't fully remember, but that was the last time he spoke to her. I mean, the minivan, the small minivan that they were traveling in, got slammed into, and everyone was on the street. And most of the folks are here no more.
Another thing that's terrible about that culture is the people who survive it are quick to take out their phones and video.
Yeah,
The
instead
people
of
dying and bleeding out instead of CPR or any kind of first aid assistance.
Yeah.
It's all about, you know, the phone culture
Yeah.
and
And I've
posting
seen it.
videos, and
I've
they're
seen it.
horrific.
I've seen it.
Horrific.
I've seen it. And it really, you know, each of us, we have to look within ourselves and see the type of environment we want to live in, the type of society. Because here's the deal. I mean, I'm new to this YouTube sensation and all this online mediums. But at the same time, I would never pop out a phone if my fellow person is dying on the ground. I would never do it. And I implore folks that are out there that are doing things like these, look into yourselves. That
Yes.
could be your family member
Yes.
laying on that asphalt.
And often these things
And
are
is
posted
that-
on social
yeah,
media. The
posted on-
family's not even informed yet.
Yeah. So, folks, I have to give it to you straight. I have to give it to you honest. And same way we can talk about the sun and the seas, we have to talk about the things that we want to do. So, we're going to finish our dirty banana.
Not so fast. It'll put us in the hammock.
I'm not going to pull out a phone to record us yapping away right now. We've given you your time, we're going to have ours. So until we have another episode of Tappertalks on the beach, I'm Ryan Tapper. This is Lorraine and Kay. Blessing.
Every time.
God bless.
Every time.
Respect.